So imagine trying to fill a bucket with water only to realize there are tiny holes draining it faster than you are pouring it in. That's exactly what hidden profit leaks do to your business. Today we are uncovering, not covering. Today we're uncovering three most common hidden profit leaks costing business owners thousands and how you can stop them. So let's dive into these silent thieves, as I call them. Yes, they are quiet thieves. They sneak in the night. No, they don't. They sneak any time of day. But yeah, let's look into these silent thieves and that are quietly draining your bottom line. So if you've not come across me before, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Anwimba, and I am your host during this 4 day series around profit and cash flow clarity during the holidays. So in the last couple of sessions, first we looked at what causes the profit leaks. Then we looked at why businesses lose profit during the holiday season. And today we're looking at what hidden profit leaks are costing your business thousands. And then tomorrow is the final, has how a 60-minute session can transform your finances. So that has been the series so far. Hope you're enjoying it, and also hope that is giving you a lot of value of how you can plug these tiny little holes in the bucket that is your business. So let's get started. First, profit leak number one that is costing businesses thousands: overlooked subscriptions and unused tools. Let me say that again: overlooked subscriptions and unused tools. What does this look like? I mean, it's quite straightforward, but monthly subscriptions for software or tools you don't fully use or need anymore. In fact, I could tell you that I have been guilty of this, where I've purchased subscriptions, hoping that it's going to solve a certain issue or automate a certain aspect of my business, and end up, not using it as much as I thought I was going to. So the ROI was not there any longer, or the ROI I was getting wasn't worth the cost that I was spending on the particular subscription. And then the next one is duplicate tools that offer similar features, but only one is actively used. There is a lot of this on the market where we get similar tools that basically overlap each other in regards to what it is that they provide. So you have things like, project management tools, where, for example, you might have Asana and you might have Trello. They kind of cover the same thing, but you find yourself that you're using one more than the other. And when it comes to, let's say, other systems, let me think about it. You might have, your Google Meet, and you might have your Zoom as well. And you'd find yourself that maybe you're using Google Meets a lot and you're not using Zoom as much as you thought you would. Those are the kind of things that you want to look at. What tools do you have in your business that have features that overlap? What tools do you have in your business that you are not using it to its fullest potential? A lot of the times, again, I've been guilty of it as well. I've bought tools. I don't do it any longer. This was quite a few years ago now, where I'll buy tools, aspirational tools, let's put it like that, where I'll buy a lot of aspirational tools. And what I mean by aspirational tools is that I buy tools for the future business. So we're in 2024 now. I might buy, a software that does a lot more than I need it to do right now in my business. A lot of it I will not use in my business at the moment, but because I am growing and scaling my business, I will use those in the future. So I'll buy those aspirational tools with the with the mindset that I will use them in the near future, because that is where I'm taking my business. But then in the meantime, we're in 2024. Let's say we're in 2024, and this might happen in the next 2 to 3 years. So you're paying for a tool for 2 to 3 years for features that you're not actually using at the moment. There's nothing stopping you from actually putting those features in place when you're actually there, rather than paying for something you are not using. And we're all guilty of this. And again, we fall, victims, I would say, of very, very good marketing, where we want to buy it with the bells and whistles rather than just go for the basic package. We go for the pro, the elite, or whatever, golden tier that they've got there, because we have this desire for the success of our business. So we're buying based on where we want to be rather than where we're at. And I know in certain circles, let's say when it comes around mindset, we always, put ourselves where we want to be. We'll always walk in the shoes of future us. But when it comes to finance, no, we're not doing that. We're in the here and now. So when it comes to tools, buy the tools your business requires now, not the tools your business will require in 3 to 4 years' time. Okay, so you want to have a look at that. And why does this happen? It's because there's lack of regular reviews of your operating expenses. So it's an understanding of, again, what your operating expenses are. You know your marketing spend, you know your sales spend. What is your operational spend? What does that look like? How can you make it work better for you? How can you make it so that it's in a way, it's in a manner that you can benefit from it as well? Yeah. So that is what we're talking about. That is what we're trying to achieve here. Then the other thing why this happens is because tools auto renew without anyone noticing it. So, convenience, oh, convenience, it's a blessing and a curse all in one. The great thing is that it auto renews and you do not have to do anything about it. There's no action on your part. But then it auto renews. So things that you're not using any longer just auto renew and you're not aware of it, especially if you're not looking at your expenses regularly. Okay. So let's say you have an annual subscription and it happens in March. Okay, so it happens in March, and let's say you did a review in January, and maybe you did another review in June. So that auto renewal that happened in March, you will not see because you do not have that regular check-in with your business data. So those are the main reasons why this happened, because there's no regular check of your operational expenses. We as business owners, there's a lot of push of looking at your marketing, and even that sometimes is wrong, because you look at how much you're spending on your marketing, but you're not getting the necessary ROI, because again, we're not looking at what exactly is the return on investment that is expected from that spend. So the lack of review and also auto renewals. So an example I would tell you is, let's say one client of mine discovered that they were paying for 2 CRM systems and hadn't logged into one in over 6 months. Yes, in over 6 months, they're not logged into it, but they were paying for 2 CRM systems. And this does happen, especially when you're transitioning as well, and there's a lot happening. You tend to forget to, stop certain subscriptions. Just think of it like your inbox and the newsletters in your inbox. It's exactly the same thing. How many times do you sit down and unsubscribe to those email lists that don't add value to you any longer? Believe it or not, that happens with subscriptions as well. So, what is the solution when it comes to overlooked subscriptions and unused tools? Well, what I recommend you do is conduct a monthly expense audit. You'd see me say this a lot. Yes, I do say it a lot. That regular check in is very, very important. Very important. So, you want to audit your monthly expense so that you are able to spot and cancel unnecessary subscriptions. I've been able to save clients $1,000 just by sitting down and looking through the statements. Sitting down and looking through the statements, that probably took us what, an hour or so. So we regained $1,000 with an hour's worth of work. That is amazing. How many jobs, let's put it like that, how many jobs do you know that pays you $1,000 an hour? That's just to prove, that's just to show you what this can do for your business. You just, spending 15 minutes, 15 minutes a week just looking through your expenses. Yesterday, I mentioned the regularity of you doing this to help your cash flow stay sustainable. Here we go again, that regular check-in with your finances, that regular check-in to make sure that things are where they're supposed to be, and you're able to spot things very, very fast. So even though it slips through the net, I would say you're better off catching it when it's $50 than catching it when it's $5,000. So that regularity is really important. Then one thing I want you to ask yourself as well is, does this tool directly contribute to the bottom line? That is another way to look at it. Ask yourself, does this tool directly contribute to my bottom line? That is how you're able to have a handle on those subscriptions and those unused tools. You do not want to be paying for a tool that you've not logged into for 6 to 12 months. No, sir. And that happens more often than you think. Okay, so now let's move to the next one. What is the next profit leak I'm going to reveal? Well, before I reveal the next profit leak, I've got one question for you. So, have you ever discovered a sneaky expense that surprised you? Have you ever discovered a sneaky expense that surprised you? What was it? Share it in the chat below. I would love to see, any things that have sneak up on you. And the great thing about sharing here as well is that others as well be like, oh, do I have that? Let me give it a look. Like, oh, do I have, it's inspirational. Let's say it allows others to kind of think over what they're doing, what their business has, and also potentially give them ideas of different areas to look into when it comes to profit leaks. So now let's move on to profit leak number 2, which is inefficient marketing spend. Whew. After payroll, marketing is the biggest spend in most businesses. I'm going to say that again. After payroll, marketing is the biggest spend in majority of businesses. What does this look like? Ad campaigns with poor targeting, low ROI, and unclear unclear tracking. Oh my days. So what does that look like? It's ad spends with poor targeting, low ROI, and or unclear tracking. I have to slow down when I'm saying that because I'm stumbling on my words. So when we're talking about marketing spend, regardless whether you're doing it yourself, whether you've got an expert in helping you or you've got an agency helping you, you are the CEO. No matter who is doing what for you, you still need to have oversight in regards to what they're doing. You still need to have an understanding of what you're expecting from them. So don't be bamboozled, by any reports and graphics and so forth if you do not have an understanding of what it is that you're expecting to start with. And then the other element as well, in regards to what it would look like when you have an inefficient marketing spend, is that spending on promotions that don't align with your audience's needs. Am I hitting home here? So ad campaigns that are just flopping left, right, and center, and then spending on promotions that do not even meet your audience's needs. And if you're not meeting your audience's needs, you're not making as much sales as you potentially could. It's impacting your bottom line because the revenue is not coming in as much as it could. Okay. And why does this happen? First of all, Throwing money at ads, sometimes throwing money at it does not solve the problem. So throwing money at ads without a clear plan or a testing strategy, it's a no-no. And this is coming from me, where I'm not necessarily a marketing guru by no stretch of the imagination, but because I've had to run my business for what? My consultancy is turning 13. Well, fluency is turning 8 or 9. So I've been in the game a minute, and I've had to learn, how to do marketing to the point where I understand what the concepts are and what I should expect to have a profitable business. But then I peacefully don't mind letting the pros do it. Why should I spend 2 hours doing something when they can totally spend 20 minutes doing it? And I've got 2 hours back to do something that I'm actually good at, which is again helping you manage your money better so you're able to keep more and bring all your data in one place so that you're able to make those data driven decisions to be able to keep more money. That's basically it. So that's why that happens. Then the second reason why it happens is that you're relying on trends without understanding what actually works for your business. You are relying on trends without understanding what actually works for your business. Not everything is going to work for your business, but everything works. I'm going to say that again. Not everything, I'll flip it the other way around. Everything works, but not everything works for your business. So you want to keep an eye on that as well. Is it a strategy specific to your business, customized for your business, or is just a general trend? Because trends do work, but it might not work for your business, it might not work for your audience, it might not work for your niche. It might not work for you. Only because a trend works doesn't necessarily mean it comes like, peanut butter and jelly to you. So an example of this that I could give you is, let's say a business owner spends 2,000 on holiday ads. Yeah, that barely broke even. So when I say breaking even, it means they spent $2,000 and they just about brought in enough revenue to cover the $2,000. So you spend $2,000 and you got $2,000. So what is left is zero. So that means you're breaking even. Okay. So a business owner spends $2,000 on holiday ads that barely break even because they didn't properly segment the audience. And we hear this over and over again in the marketing circle. Segmenting your audience is important. So if you don't know how to do it, then please do follow individuals like Adriana, do follow individuals like Anatoly, and they're really good at, talking you through the whole segmentation and how it works and so on and so forth, so you can have an understanding. Or you could just totally hire somebody to do that for you. It is so important in this economy because it's all about community. So you segmenting your audience shows that you understand your community. You segmenting your audience shows that you appreciate the nuance between each group within your community. Okay, so that is an example of how your marketing spend can be inefficient. Okay, so what is the solution here? How can you better prepare yourself? How can you better be intentional about your marketing spend so that it's efficient and it gives you maximum ROI? So the first thing I would say is review ad performance weekly. Can you see a trend here with me telling you to review things? There's a trend here. Either I'm telling you to audit, either I'm telling you to review. You can see it. So review your ad spend performance weekly and cut campaigns that aren't delivering. So this then goes back to your strategy. When you're putting a strategy in place, you want to put in all this go no goes. You want to put all these gatekeepers to make sure that you come back to it and you ask yourself those questions. What I keep saying is that when you put things in place, when you're level headed, it allows you to be more efficient when you're emotional. I'm going to tell you that again. When you put things in place, when you're level headed, allows you to be more efficient when you're emotional. And more times than none, we're emotional beings. And I mentioned yesterday and the day before in regards to gut driven, passion driven decision making. When you're doing a lot of gut driven, passion driven decision making, it tends to be usually emotionally based. And sometimes your emotions are irrational. So when you're putting in your marketing strategy, usually you're doing it when you're not in the thick of it. When you're not in the thick of it, you're able to think things through and put in stop to make sure that you are still being efficient. You're putting in gatekeepers in place to make sure that you're checking in and making and still in alignment with what you said you were going to do when you're putting this strategy together. So review your ad performance weekly and cut any campaigns that aren't delivering. Within your strategy, you already say what that time span is to be able to say, okay, this is not working. I have spent this amount and I said I was going to test it for this amount of time. That has all passed. So let's, cut this campaign. And if you're working with somebody on this, then you want to have that all understood and written out so that we all know where we are and what we are doing. We all want to be singing from the same hymn sheet, want to be singing the same song of the same year. Okay. We don't want somebody singing Dolly Parton and then the other person singing Whitney Houston. Same songish, let's say same lyrics, but definitely different kind of song. So, what's the solution? Solution number 2 is focus on organic strategies where it's possible to reduce unnecessary spend. Organic strategies is the best testing ground ever. You can test to your heart's content, and there's no panic about it. There is no money spent, there's a time spent to it, but there's no monetary spend. And when you're able to test things out in the organic space, then you're able to then add the monetary value to it to be able to 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x something that is working. So the whole point of having organic strategies is to validate and prove that it works. And once you know it works, please add fuel to the car so that it runs as fast as it can. Okay, so that is what we're talking about when we talk about inefficient marketing spend. So think it through then. If you're in the ad space and you're doing any ads or marketing spend, again, could be a time element. So every time I'm talking about spend, in everything has a cost. That is what I'm trying to get at. Everything has a cost. So whether it is a financial cost, whether it's a quality cost, or whether it's a time cost, there is a cost. So when you're looking at things, you always want to look at that three angles, at that trifecta in regards to, is it costing me money? Is it costing me time? Is it costing me quality? And then determine what it is that you want to balance out. It's going to be a balancing act because it's going to cost one of those three, or even all three. The important thing here is that you're getting maximum ROI. So if I'm going to spend 2 hours doing something, I know it's giving me 10 hours back. That is superb ROI. If I'm going to spend $2,000 on ads, I know it's going to bring $20,000. Good ROI. You see where I'm going with this? If I am going to bring in, an appointment setter, let's put that like that. If I'm going to bring in an appointment setter, that appointment setter is going to improve the quality of my outreach. And that in turn means that I'm bringing in better quality leads. ROI right there. Do you see where I'm going with this? Can you see how it all links either to cost, quality, or time? And you want to ROI, whatever it is, you want it to ROI. You want a return on investment on that. And my next question here, as I move us to point number 3, which is the third reason or the third thing that is costing you thousands of loss in profits will come in a second. But before I go there, this is my second question to you. Which of these three leaks, bear that in mind because I'm going to tell you the third one. So, which of the leaks do you think might be draining your profit the most? So, keep that in mind whilst I tell you what the third one is. The third one is, oh gosh, the third one is unchecked team or operational inefficiencies. So the reason I stuck to three because I love the rule of three, but also because it's easier to remember. And the other reason as well is that these are the ones that I've seen the most, that have come up the most in my clients. These are the ones I've seen the most in the market as well. So these are not just arbitrary, let me just pick three. These are more times than none going to appear in every single business at some point or the other in their entrepreneurial journey. So, what does unchecked team or operational inefficiencies look like? So, overtime costs from poor scheduling. Overtime costs. So your overtime is, mounting up because of the way you are scheduling your resources. Okay. The next one is bottlenecks in workflow that slow down productivity. I feel this. I feel this a lot. So when you're working with me and we go through the ROI framework, we're resetting, rewriting your business goals, your money mindset, and also putting in place, the basic understanding of cash flow forecasting and so forth. And then we go into O, which is your optimization. And this is where we are doing the optimizing of your systems, your talents, and your processes. And why I do optimization next is because when you have the foundation of what it is that you are trying to achieve and where you are trying to go as a business owner, so I always start with the business owner. So my R is all about rewriting and redefining for the business owner. We go into O, now we look at the business where we're optimizing different elements within the business. And this is where as well that I centralize all your data. So all of your marketing, all of your sales, all of your operations, all of your finance into one single space so that you're able to see those KPIs based on the goals and based on the values and based on what it is that you're trying to achieve in your business. You're able to see all those KPIs and the metrics. So that's easy for you to just go in, look at your dashboard and be like, okay, this is what I need to do because, I'm bringing in this amount of sales and this is where I am in regards to my revenue goal. So why I say that is because when we are in the optimization stage of my ROI framework, that is where I discover a lot of bottlenecks. That is where we see areas of financial saving, we see areas of cost savings, we see areas of quality improvement. So these bottlenecks usually have an impact on productivity, and also this has an impact on your customer service. So how you make your customers feel, how you make them go through, so their experience, it has an impact on your client's experience. Okay, so you really want to have a look at that. And also what operational inefficiency looks like is paying for roles or services that are underutilized. There seems to be this badge of honor in having huge and massive teams when you don't really need them. So you want to look at, again, when we're looking at optimization, what we're looking at, remember in my ROI framework, we're looking first at processes. So you want to have a process in place. And this process, usually I'll tell you, okay, write it to me manually. What does the manual process look like? Okay, if you're meant to do everything manually, what does that process look like? And that is literally your process. Now, systems. So, what systems do we bring to support and deliver that process? So, what systems do we bring in to deliver that process? And then finally, talent. What talent do you bring in that knows how to use that system to help you deliver the process? So that is the order you should go in. You have a process, you have a system, then you have your talent. And this is not necessarily the order in which you should hire or bring things in, but it's the order in which you should think about it. Sometimes we bring an expert in to help us, implement a certain system. So you kind of have system and talent married together. But again, you have an underlying process already in place. You know how you want it to work. So when you know how you want it to work, you know which systems to bring in to deliver that process. Okay. And then you know the talent to bring in that knows how to use that system, or that you can train to use that system to deliver the quality, okay, to deliver the experience that you want, to deliver the, I would say experience again, your brand experience. What is your brand experience like? And when we're talking about brand experience, and I don't know if it's a real word, but it flows out of my mouth, the brand experience that your clients have, the brand experience that your team has when they're within your business is based on the processes and the systems that you have in place. You know, if you're going into Primark, you have certain expectations, right? If you're going to Harvey Nicks, you have a certain expectation. Again, brand experience. So how you're served, how you are, the quality of, the ambiance, comment tu dis ça? The quality of the ambiance and all that. That is basically what it is. So when you're onboarding, so when you're marketing, when you're going through your sales process, when you're onboarding, when you're delivering, when you're offboarding, all of that is part of your brand experience. And all of that are things you think about when you're going through and implementing your processes. And then the systems you bring in should deliver against that experience again. And the people you bring in will deliver against that experience. So, what does that look like for you? You do not want to bring things and people and have additional steps in place when they're going to be underutilized. Okay. So, what does it look like for operational inefficiencies over time because of poor scheduling, bottlenecks that are costing you in your productivity, it slows down your productivity, and then paying for roles or services that are underutilized. And why does this happen? Processes are not reviewed or optimized regularly. You can see why O is my optimization stage. We optimize, we're always optimizing. And the optimize that you do with me is a big, shift in regards to, it's almost optimizing your foundation. You want to make sure that your foundation is optimized because you are going to be scaling. And when you are scaling, as you are scaling and growing, you are going to be continuously optimizing because the market changes, your buyers change, the economy changes. And those changes can have an impact on your business or may give you new ideas, may give you new revenue streams, may give you new innovation spaces. Hence why the optimization carries on. And the more you optimize, the more fine tuned your system, process, and talent will be. That means you're getting the most ROI out of every single dollar you are spending, out of every single minute you are spending, okay, out of every single quality element that you're implementing within the system. Okay, remember, we're always increasing quality, not decreasing quality. So you want to give the best quality for the price point that you are at. Okay, so I'm not telling you now that you have to deliver, Harrods standard quality if you're in the mid market. So if you're in the low market, deliver, the best you can at that for that market. If you're in the mid range, you want to deliver the best you can for that market. If you're in premium, again, the same thing applies. So an example here is a client of mine realized that their team was spending 20% of their week on manual tasks. I know. Yes, I know. spending 20 hours, I mean, 20% of their week on manual tasks that could have been automated. And when this was realized, do you know how much we saved by putting in automations? $5,000 annually. Yes, that was $5,000 saved annually just by automating what the team does. Okay, let me step back again from this. So, what tends to happen in this space is that there are just certain manual things that need to take place. And sometimes it will stay manual because it's more bespoke, it's more customized, so it has to be done manually. But what tends to happen is that, for example, me as a CEO, I was doing something manually. And because I was doing it manually, my savings came because I brought in a VA to still carry out that manual process. That's a time save on my part, but then it has incurred a cost. Am I getting the best ROI out of that cost that is now costing me? So sometimes it's not just a matter of outsourcing it and then they're still carrying on the same non efficient practices. It's outsourcing it, but still making sure that your process is efficient as it can be. Okay. Your talent is not your system. Your talent is not your system. And unfortunately, a lot of these inefficiencies happen because you are bringing in talent to act as a system. And that most times than none doesn't have to be the case. Yeah. So I'm bringing somebody to, clean up my CRM. I'm not expecting them to be my CRM. And this happens a lot in spaces like, when I'm talking about data entry, where you can totally get rid of that if you just create automations where the entry happens at point of sale, as we say it. So you do not have that additional step now, which happens a lot where you have VAs that come in just to enter information that we already have. So if you enter that information at the point of collection, then you don't have that additional entry again. And I'm saying this from back end because I see this a lot. The data gets muddled up, so many data quality issues because we have that additional entry point. So rather than entering the data at point of collection, we have this additional step where now somebody has to go find that information and then input it either into a CRM or a spreadsheet or whatever it is. That will cause inefficiencies. Okay, so those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. And this will come up a lot in the quality of your data. And the quality of your data determines as well the quality of the insights that you get, determines the amount of profit that you retain. It has an impact on how much money you get to keep because you're spending so much tidying up every single time. That's a profit leak due to inefficiencies, operational inefficiencies, by the way. So, what's the solution here? I'll give you two. So, map out your current workflows. Remember when I said I ask my clients, we always go through it like, okay, what is your process? And the reason I always ask you to do it manually, and when I say manually, is okay, think of a day that there's no power and, Facebook is down, or one of those, Armageddon kind of scenarios, zombie apocalypse. I'm not going to say it, but the zombie thing. What would your business look like? How would it run? And I wanted to take it to the bare bones of what exactly your process is. And then now we're able to see if the systems that we have to support that process are the best we can get. That is where we get to see if there's duplication, if there's crossover, if you have things just lying around that you are not using. So, first thing is map out your current workflows and identify any bottlenecks. And I can put a guarantee on this, you will find bottlenecks. Or you can come to me during our profit hour. which is still open. I opened up 5 spaces for Profit Hour. We go through and we look at all this. The whole point of the Profit Hour is to give you clarity around your profit and cash flow. Without cash flow, there is no business. Without profit, you're just running on a treadmill. You're going nowhere. Okay? You need profit if you're looking to scale. You need cash flow if you're looking to stay open. It's just what it is, you know? It's just the rules of physics. Just the rules of business. Okay, solution number 2 in tapping and closing off these inefficiencies is explore automation or delegation to streamline your operations. So is there a way to streamline? I spoke to you about, different ways that inefficiencies can creep into your process systems and talents. So is there a way you can automate it? Is there a way you can streamline it? And when you're automating, delegating to streamline, you always again want to look at costs, time, quality. Cost, time, quality. And if they're suitable to you and suitable to your audience, then please power on. You do not want to streamline to the point where it almost goes against your brand, if that makes sense. Okay? It almost doesn't sound and look like you anymore. People are expecting, certain kind of service from you, certain kind of talk from you, and you do not want to sacrifice that all in the name of streamlining. So you want to kind of have this balancing act between I'm streamlining to get max, but also I'm not alienating my audience because I'm streamlining. All right. So those were our 3. So we've covered 3 big hidden profit leaks: unused subscriptions, inefficient marketing spend, and operational bottlenecks. I'm going to say that again. Pen, paper, write this down. 3 profit leaks that are costing you thousands: unused subscriptions, inefficient marketing spend, and operational inefficiencies. The great news here, though, is that these aren't hard to fix by no stretch of the imagination. For each of them, I already gave you solutions within this session of how to go, and you can fix it yourself. You can fix it now before we get into the new year. You can fix it now so that you end 2024 strong and loud. Or should I say strong and profitable? Strong and profitable. So once you know where to look, it is easy to fix. I've given you examples of my past clients. I've given you example of, what I see in the market as well in regards to how you can identify this, what it looks like, how it manifests in your business. Because sometimes I might be sitting here and telling you, sure, operational expenses. And you're like, what does that mean? What does it look like? How can I what is it? It's great for me telling you, oh, fantastic, I've got this lemon drizzle. Lemon drizzle is sweet, it's nice, it's tangy, it hits all the spot. It's great with a cup of tea. Okay, we know what lemon drizzle is, but tell me more, Anwi. And I start going into, okay, you're going to need your flour, your eggs, that is the level that I'm talking about here. That I'm not just telling you, oh, lemon drizzle. I'm actually giving you the ingredients of how you can basically look for these within your business. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, then my profit hour is the fastest way to uncover and fix your leaks. We're talking about fixing your leaks, and in just 60 minutes, we'll audit your expenses to find those hidden costs. Also, we'll spot inefficiencies draining your profits, and then create a plan to plug the profits, to plug the leaks, and also increase your bottom line. My whole jam, my whole source, my whole purpose of being, my whole purpose, well, the whole purpose of my business, of my service, is simplifying your finances by using your data so that you can increase your bottom line. Comprende? Simplify your finances by using your data to increase your profits. That is my jam. That is why I do what I do. And that is what I do in the power hour. In the profit hour, that's what I uncover. And each of this depends on, again, what it is that we're finding in your business. So it's not a cookie cutter. It's okay, this is where we're going, this is the stream that we're going, this is the road based on, the conversation that we're having. So I've got a few spots left. As I said, I've opened up 5 spots this week, so I've got a few spots left. So you want to DM me profits to book the spot. You want to DM me profit if you want to find more information about this, or you could go into my featured section of my profile, my LinkedIn profile, go to my featured section, and you get all the information you need there about what the profit hour is all about. And the reason I'm doing it now is because we want to end the year strong. The reason I'm doing it now is because these things are so easily fixed once you know what it is that you're looking for. Easy to implement as well. I don't go, no, this is all about working with entrepreneurs who are overwhelmed by scattered finances, struggling with cash flow, and looking for quick insights to identify profit leaks and also optimize it for immediate results. So quick insights, immediate results. That is what the profit hour is all about. Quick insights, immediate results. Okay? We got revenue goals to hit. We got profits to keep. Revenue goals to hit, profits to keep. I'm going to write that down, actually. I'm going to write that down. I feel inspired when I'm talking to you. But that is what it is when we are talking about inefficiencies that are costing you thousands in profits. Okay, so if you're ready to fix your leaks and take back control, make sure you DM me profit. Other than that, I'm going to see you for our next session, which is going to be how a 60-minute session can transform your finances. Okay, for me, as I said, I told you already, quick insights, immediate results. So quick insights, immediate results, 60 minutes. What does that look like? What is included in that? And how can you, again, we do not necessarily have to work together, but the important thing here is that you are able to do this for your business on your own. Most times the none is not your jam, it's not your zone of genius. So a lot of the business owners that I work with, they have an understanding, but they just prefer me to help them, clarify it so they can do the CEO thing, knowing that they're working based on real life data and quality insights. They can scale with confidence. They can scale with peace of mind. Okay, so with that said, thank you very much for hanging out with me. If you have any questions, as usual, pop it in the comments, pop it in the chat, and I'll get round to it. Maybe I might even end up doing a session just answering questions, which is fantastic. And with that said, enjoy the rest of your days, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now.